Good morning, everybody. Hey, we got the lag time way down. That's cool. I'll be able to catch chats a little faster. There we go. Let's change that up there. Perfect. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Terry? How we doing? Let everybody jump in here at the last couple minutes. We'll start right at 12 here. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Happy Saturday morning. Perfect. Morning, everybody. Mr. Garcia, what's up? Mike. Morning or afternoon almost. A couple minutes till the morning's over. Got a fun one today. What's up, Joel? What's up, buddy? Hanging out, ready to tackle this last little session of the algos. What do we got? 1 minute left-ish? Yeah, 1 whole minute. We'll get started. 1 whole minute, right at 12. Let people pile in so they don't miss any of the beginning here. Get some other stuff ready here. Good morning, good afternoon. Yeah, pretty much afternoon. Depending on where you are, you might be on the West Coast time, a little earlier, East Coast time, a little ahead. We're smack dab in the middle on the old Central time frame. Aloha, what's up, Kelsey? Good morning. From the islands, way out in tropical, way better than I have ever experienced weatherland. All right, my friends, it is noon. We are covering the final third part of algos and Fibonacci's, and I wanted to extend this one just to part 3 because of the insane moves that we had the last couple days, right? If you notice, obviously, if you've traded the last couple parts of the day, we had some very interesting momentum from the deep seek gap down there, and I really wanted to articulate on this very, very closely, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by building that long-term plan and what to do with these giant gap downs and kind of move into how we programmed this whole last week for the pre-market death to the late day longs, because we did kind of talk about that on the way back up. Of course, Friday was a little different there. We did look for something similar there at yesterday's highs, but we had this amazing sell-off, right? Last day of January. And I'll be covering the January close now this weekend coming up here. I'll probably be able to release it this week. I'll make it either tonight or tomorrow. It'll be a full breakdown on the January sentiment, how we closed, no Santa rally, a bunch of different metrics, and how 2025 is going to play out, all because of the wash. So, but we're going to focus on these algorithms now, and I'll show you exactly how I traded the week and why. So, to start it off right away, Fibonacci's are everything, right? And we were talking. Let me move this over here. We were talking about our. Good morning, Sergio. What's up? What's up? So we're talking about this huge, move that, all-time high 3 down. So in the last couple of videos that we've made in the last month here, every Saturday, we talk about the 3 down, 1, 2, 3, support 100 EMA, found the over-under, obviously the MACD temporary, we got 3 waves there, 3 waves there. Everything was really converged, working well. We've seen the pop coming, right? Came up to that move, all-time high in SPY. Of course, QQQ is what I like to focus on here. We'll move over to SPY after. And then the deep seek gap, right? So let's build, right? And so when you get a big panic like this, we usually start from the weekly, right? Weekly and daily are going to be the same here, but we're just going to start from kind of square one in the last couple here from 25 to 24's highs, right? And on the daily chart, the high-low range is going to look, you know, on the 3 down. So it doesn't matter which way you draw this one. I'm going to focus on that 100 EMA to the top. So this is Fibonacci number 1, high-low range, okay? We start at a very large high-low. And if you notice from this high-low, and we've drawn this one on class before and talked about it, we don't have any price action on the lower fill under the golden pocket, which would mean when our candle here on the bottom of the Fibonacci does not have price action into 500, obvious psychological whole dollar. Why am I using that fib? Common sense, right? And then as the all-time high, obviously a very specific candle as well. So we don't have any price action on the bottom of that fib. And if you look at the top from the all-time high candle, we don't have any price action on the top of that fib. So it is our job as traders, swings, and analysts is to find which we're going to go to first, the top fill or the bottom fill. Now, the deep seek is what kind of popped everybody, as a surprise, right? It was a very, very, very interesting knee-jerk reaction, kind of a blow to NVIDIA. And by the end of the day of the DeepSeek news, Trump, lots of other people spun it as a bullish narrative for the GPUs on NVIDIA, right? So we're very familiar with that. Now, when that DeepSeek gap turned all the way back down to this huge gap down under 515, we actually ran into a lot of different things. And I'm going to go over some anchors here as well. We haven't thrown any of these anchors in here yet, so I do want to touch on those after we build out the fibs real quick so you guys can kind of see what we're working with. On anchors, Counter covers these a lot. I don't, but I'll show you how I use them on the long term. On picking these over unders as well for algo driven moves. If you looked at my last video here of our recap live trading, we talked about a gap up candle having an algorithmic anchor VWAP that it rode all day. And once that broke later on in the day, it was pure pandemic to the downside. Now, what causes, big sell-offs like this? Well, one thing is the end of the month, okay? January is a very, very, very big month, which you'll find in my next video where we go over projections for 2025, why January matters, what the hedge funds do with January. That'll be the next video. Now, the January close is very important. We look at the monthly close, okay? So right now, we can just go to that monthly chart here, and we have this inverted hammer doji. Well, not inverted, hammer doji to the bottom side, right? Hammer some top, inverted body low. And when we broke back up over this for that January green, we were looking at that monthly. That was obviously the close of November. Then you move into December. There's the body of December. So anything over 511, you're looking for a green close, right? Where that low body is. So if you move into the daily where that 511 comes in right here, we had that little dip into the 100 EMA, closed way up. DeepSeek was pushing really heavy, and what matters is the percent gain. Now I'm gonna talk about this as we get into the next video, but just to touch on this, the percent of green matters, okay, of what we have here. So when we go measure what the low, what the high and the close is, the open and the close, how did we close? Well, 2% is our bullish narrative. 1.66 is what we got. So less than one all-time high, I'm assuming, for the market. And again, I'll explain later. But as we get into the high-low Fibonacci build-out on Qs, this is going to be the most important one. We picked key points like we always do to draw our fibs from. In Fibonacci, it is not if it's going to work. It is when. If you draw it 60% correct, you will still get levels that hit. So all-time high to the candle that hit the 100 EMA, speaking to these algos right here, very specific. Now, the DeepSeek gap, we're going to get into the day trade, and this is going to be a whole segment on these algos and what we did with them, okay? So we have the big high-low fib. Remember, when we start the week, even with a deep seep gap down, I was watching this on the weekly. We're watching the high-low off the 100 EMA because we don't have any data as we discussed in the first part. If we come into a longer, let me back up here a little bit. 10-day 5, there we go. We were dealing with the deep seep gap down here. We had a very interesting bounce right here on the NQ 100 EMA, wink, wink. We called the bottom there on the NQ futures at the 100 EMA. And then this frickin' thing was created. And I said, wow, we have to really watch this algorithm here. That is a huge, huge, huge push. Not only do we have that massive gap down on the futures, which I'll talk about here as well in a little bit for the magnets of the gaps, but we have intraday on the QQQ, and we play this a lot. So I'm going to take this algorithm fib, which you see on this channel all the time. Not a lot of people do this, if any. And I'm going to make this one. And this is what we did for our chat. We do this live every single morning. And per our first video on how to break down your charts and build this every single day, you'll notice right away that we look for specific overlapping chart analytics, okay? Right away, your eyes should have picked up. We have an overlapping 50. So the all-time high and the 100 EMA daily fib that we have drawn now, and the intraday deep seek algo-driven panic, which my favorite indicator is hype, fear, and greed, okay? That is always going to be your number one. A monkey can learn technical analysis. It means close to nothing if you don't know what's going on that day, that night, or in the news, right? So the Fibonacci overlap from the large one we just drew and the algorithm has an overlap right here, right? 519 and change. And what we do with that is I usually fib that out and I use it as a general range. And I'm not going to sit here and make it perfect to the penny and blah, blah, blah. We're just going to get some sentiment here. So I know right off the bat that anything above the holds of 519 building those higher lows are going to send us what? Higher towards the deep seek gap. We already know psychological catalyst had carried at the end of the day for the deep seek gap down into the Trump administration. He was even saying it was bullish. He was tweeting about it, you know, trying to save that market dump. Now, that's fine. That's just sentiment we have to remember moving into this crazy Monday trade and then the next day. So we always come back in and as you've seen the trade day starts Monday 127, like okay, then we fib out the high low and you see this in the last couple videos that we taught you guys here. We fib out this candle, we come back in, so on and so forth. Now we have a daily candle of the high low, right? So another golden pocket to worry about. I see what? Another overlap right here, 61.8, two of them. What does that overlap with? Oh, TUS having some crazy here, is obviously the algo fib and the candle for Monday, right? So that high low for that Monday helps out our Tuesday. So again, I'm going to make a little marker here just as a reminder. We're going to get back into the nitty gritty of the algos right after these two. So I'm picking these zones out, overlapping, right? And I'm just going to change them blue for ease of use. And then to pretty up your charts, you're going to go ahead and just delete the ones that you don't want to use. This is what I do. I find my price levels and I clean up that chart because I want to know where double overlapping Fibonacci is used. The algorithms are speaking to each other and I want to know what they're doing with that information. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off, right, that very, very large all-time high in 100 EMA. And I'm going to focus on this dude. Why? Well, because this pertains to the week that we're trading more than the long term. I'm not going to trade this week off of more than one Fibonacci level that we have acquired from the all-time high to the 100 EMA stretch, right? I'm going to see this guy intraday, or pre-market rather, Monday, and I'm going to be like, holy moly, look at this thing, right? So I know this is going to be a huge defactor for the week, and I know I don't have to go to the weekly and the daily and the gap and look at every single other one. I know the algorithms already told me right here, this is going to be an interesting zone. Pay attention, Brandon. Okay, cool. So I got metrics, right? Day on, anything over that 515 is looking good. Anything over that 519 is looking good, okay? So as we move into how we progress, algorithms. Now, in the last couple of recap videos, I talked a lot about these 1 minute gaps, okay? I'm not going to tell you everything about how to trade the clusters. I'm not going to tell you how the entry points work, but I'll go over two things here for back testing golden pockets and how overlays and the overlay of the next day's algo still kind of reigns supreme, okay? So first, I want to edit this box a little clearer just in case so we can see transparency real fast. Okay. Just make that a little easier to go with. Shrink that down. And then we're on the 10-day, right? Yeah, we only need 5, but 10 works. So as we're going to come back down to that deep seek gap down, we're going to start looking for 1 minute algos, okay? 1 minute gaps. Now here's our first one Tuesday. Boom. We have a gap left open, right? Very close to the teal 519.11. Within probably about 12 to 14 cents here. I don't know. I'm doing all this live. Or percent I meant, not cents. Yeah, about 15%. So as we go through, we're going to mark off this algo right off the bat, 1 minute open gap, okay? We're going to mark these off, make it a little bigger so we go, bam. We have a untagged 1 minute algo mixed with a bunch of Fibonacci's. We designed this algo here, okay? The next day, we have an opportunity to fill it. Well, Brandon, why went to fill this day? Don't you look for first day 1 minute gaps? That's always everybody's question. Why don't we just short it right here on this run? Well, I don't know, because this massive squeeze algo trend up and a huge bounce from a mega move to the downside might scare me about intraday downside short metrics that only have to do with a minute chart when I got a daily, weekly, and 4 hour and every other chart telling me that there is massive panic, right? So I'm not looking for the easy algo fills. I'm looking for progressive hardcore squeezing because the sentiment told me not to look for the small moves quite yet. It's Monday, Tuesday. It's the first couple days of digestion of such a large psychological catalyst, hype, fear, greed news piece. So as I move into that 1 minute, Wednesday is going to come to the next trade day. I'm not really looking for that easy fill. You can see how algorithmically controlled these buy-ups are. We talked about these in the last video too, showed you some picture examples. And when you start seeing these, look at the candles driven on off the 1 minute 10 SMA. They just hug it, right? Consolidation, megaphone pattern, bullish pop, another one. Just hugging that 10, just hugging that 10. So we see a lot of these already progressing in the morning into the afternoon trade time. When I see it grip that 10, me as a confirmational trader, if I was going for the short gap here for that one that might stay open, I would need confirmation. It needs to break under the 10. It needs to stay under 519 and come back. What did we just get over for support? Double top, double top. What did that hit? The massive teal freaking thing we just made with all the double overlapping Fibonacci's and the algo, 519. So if this algo is made and it breaks through something that triple top pretty much right here, am I expecting it to break right back through that level and come fill it? No, come on, man. Huge long-term support resistance. Historics are much more powerful than intraday. Just because there's a 1 minute gap does not mean it's just going to form function down. We could have looked for that short if it stayed under the teal level. Obvious resistance to your left as your eyeball should go over to the left. Look at the double top. The exact pattern we see on the overlapping Fibonacci as we've discussed many times. If it would have came up to here for a quad top and came down and went, cool. That would have been a long point for me. Maybe a confirmation off the 100. And if I would have shorted, it would have only been the break of 519 right to there. But do we see any amount of opportunity for that? No. And of course, we're a big trader on the 5 minute chart. Let's go here. Let's even look at the oscillation indicators. We're stacking these catalysts. Top side of the RSI, very limited chance to go to the downside. Top of the MACD. 5 minute is holding perfect trend on what? The 10 SMA. And on our systems here on YouTube, we talk about a 10 SMA loop system where the price action for the first time will go under the 10 SMA for the first time and continue the grind back up, especially in algorithmic grind up protocols like this trade day. Look at this. Price action's under the 10, breaks over, full squeeze. First tag of the breakover. You're going to hear me say that all the time. Double top loop. This is a bullish loop. The price action created a couple candles underneath, which is a precursor. We need that to happen to consider this a loop to go to the next bull move. Okay. Did it again. Consolidation 10, looped up, algos squeezing. We have covered everything now that says this 1 minute gap should not have been on your target range, right? So, a little too far back. So back to the 1 minute gap over for the next days. Now, into that Wednesday, how did we know this short was coming, right? We had data, we had a couple other little things coming out soon, but we had algorithms that were open, right? Now, what is, was this one of the, let me make sure here. This was not one of the gap up days, right? Okay, so on the daily chart here, we got that 1 minute here, okay? That's 128. We come to 129's trade day. We're looking for what? What do we do? We fib out what? Every single day, high, low, right? We're trading for Wednesday now. We're going to fib out the high, low on Tuesday. We're going to make it neon green like always, just to see it easier. Not like always, but just see it easier right now. We're going to go to that 5 minute chart. We're going to go say, this is our trade day. Here's that algo day. No fill on that 1 minute. We talked about all this teal zone. We're into this trade day. What do we know about our over under? How do I mark these up? 523 and 3 cents. Boom, right? That's the over under because it's yesterday's Fibonacci. What else did we have? Data, 7 a.m., algo candle. I don't remember which one it was, but regardless, it's an algo candle, 3 a.m. one as well. I can do an intraday here. Where does this intraday line up? Oh my God, the golden pocket to the freaking T. We are now matching multiple intradays with long-term Fibonacci again. So the over-under that we're planning for here, 5 minute chart, look what happened. Now, two big things that you should algos here. These are all algos. They're all very different style algos, but they all work out. If something breaks inside the prior range of the candle, this is yesterday's highs, because remember, this is Wednesday's trade plan. We break under 523. We go to where? Golden pocket. Dink, dink. There's the golden pocket. 61.8 to 38.20, as we always say on this channel. No different, right? So the golden pocket was hit. First tag, shmoom, smashes up. What is another big takeaway right here that would magnet the price action up? I'll wait for a couple of seconds, see if you guys can get some questions on this one real quick. What else do you see? We knew the short had a big potential to lose 523 and come to the golden pocket and fill the algo, which I shouldn't even have to say to you guys. You should just be watching that white dashed line. Open algo, chance to come down, fill algo. All biased right here. Under the short, under that 61.8, we're coming to the GP and the teal. But what else for the bounce play would have made sense? We hit our GP target. We were short biased under here. Came down to the teal zone. That would have been one. We stuck under VWAP as we covered in many breakdowns. What else comes up? Good afternoon. The loop trigger is the candle closes back above. So once you see candles developed above or below, here's on the screen, here's your answer right here. The trigger would be the break of the prior candles. This is a reverse loop right here. So remember how I told you is the upside loop for this one. Here's a downside loop. Price action is down, under 10, under 10, under 10, under 10. Over loop exists, comes down. The protocol would be to watch these candles right here that opened above and below. We call them hard open closes. These are all the candles right here that broke down. And of course, we always look for outside catalysts. This one is a rejection of VWAP in the purple, but the 5-minute loop system right here, the break of those candles back to the downside will increase the speed. Okay, look at the moving average video. We have a whole video dedicated to that, just on the moving averages in the channel. Tag of the 100. Thank you, Rob. RB. Terry, -2. Also a good answer. -2. We are holding a double bottom near -2. I'll take that. But we're talking magnets, remember. Where's the price action coming back too long? For what reason? Let's look at the open on the 5-minute chart. 100 EMAs in the green. Uh-oh, no tag. Which means algorithms will look to hit a first tag golden pocket and first tag 100 EMA because statistically there's a chance for it. We are just playing our risk management opportunity here. We have an opportunity to see price action getting stuck in the bottom VWAP channel, -2 VWAP, -2 VWAP, -2 VWAP, way down, finally hits golden pocket, higher lows, holds golden pocket, comes back up, smashes over the VWAP, finds that 100 EMA, and then does what? Uses the exact double Fibonacci teal level as an over-under. Look at the interesting candle patterns and reactions here. Right at that teal level. That is a massive level. How did we know that? We built the Fibonacci for it, right? Okay, so fill number 1, algos, all done. And then, of course, algorithm magnets, 100 EMA, no hit, all throughout the day. Wait till it finds the support. First tag, golden pocket, and we have a chance to do what? Retrace to the 100 before we close on the day, because the 100 EMA is very important. Next day, so we're going to come in again, and we're going to talk dailies and anchors after this first. Thursday's trade. We have the Wednesday low. We pop back up again overnight. Thursday time, right? No, I think it's Thursday time. Let me make sure. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. Yep. So jobs data and other obvious massive data here. We got a 7:30 and a 7 a.m. candle. Big one. Teal. So we're going to use that same Fibonacci strategy. We're just going to move it over day by day. We're going to take this bad boy off, and right away you should be already noticing throughout the week on how we did this is we have this high-low, right, of the algo. Remember, this is an algo candle. This is the one I wanted to utilize the most. What do we see on the daily chart? Higher low, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. It's all on trend still, right? Attacking that gap. But we have to wait to be very patient day by day. So 129 is done. We're working on 130. So we take this chart. Again, we are planning a trade for 130. We are fibbing out 129. I will now change 129 to neon green, just so we can see it easier in the day around this glass here. And this is where it came from. This is where we're trading it. So this also becomes what? All first tags again. So we entered into a big, massive push back up. And one of the things also that I talked about for this trade day was, you know, yesterday's highs was right here. And we did not deserve a gap up. That was another really big one for this short day on Thursday. So what do we do with those Fibonacci's? What do we do with those algos? Well, we're going to go back to that 1-minute chart. I'm going to go for that Thursday plan. And we're going to go, well, do we have any other algos? If yes, where and why? Well, this is one I need to take into consideration here and show you guys the double. Here's an algorithm. Is that left open? Let's zoom in real close. Pay attention. After hours, live trading. After hours is not a fill for live trading. So right there, next 1-minute gap open. The algos left this sucker open again, which we said could happen many times this week, right? So again, now we got this algo. Now we're going to move into the next trade day. Here it is. So where did that bottom come in? What are all the first tags? Well, first off, 1618 shied. Pay attention. Shied, that's not a real tag, which means premium 526.23 magnet still on deck. Price action comes down, breaks what? The 100 fib. Under, over. That is what we usually use the 100 fib for. We held the over right here. It pushed up. What else did we talk about early that we had that data with? Boom, boom. Data. Golden pocket. First tag all the way up into the +2 VWAP, fails, snaps back into that, and continues down. And where's the short target? Where does it have a high probability chance to fill? The 1-minute gap left open right there into the Thursday, right? Where's the bottom of the day? Oh, a 1 minute gap. Who would have thought? Algos and computers talking to each other, right? Cool, cool. Now, what else? Well, we destroyed the green candle. We're going to go a little faster here. You guys should be right on par. Teal level, 519 change again. What did it hold? Pretty big breakpoint if you ask me. Higher lows, teal again, big higher low, right? Break out of the teal level, break a little under the teal, close above, bullish, touch the teal level again, all higher lows, just stacking up, right? Into Friday, right? Now the sell-off and everything else I'll cover here before we go into anchor VWAPs, right? So we move over. Oh, back up here. We're going to delete the green fibs again. Why is that? Well, actually, let me talk about it first. I almost forgot. Remember yesterday, last trade day here, Thursday? No tag. And what did I say about that? It's weird. It's a magnet. So the next day's price action, no matter which way it comes, it does not matter. We have a chance to come to that magnet because we now have gapped over it. Now let's talk about all the rest of the Friday trade day here. We'll build it out. We started in a gap up, and my whole trade plan was to close this gap today at some point because it just doesn't deserve a gap and go on a Friday like this. It just doesn't. The algorithms also said so. Let's take a peek at all the extra algos we had. Excuse me. Algo number 1. That was the shy from yesterday. So price action opened up. Notice that pre-market, it's not real, not a tag. Live market in the black, opened up above it, created what? A gap, not only for yesterday's highs in the orange dash line, not only for a pre-market open, we should use that as a break point, 520.26 and 2 cents. That purple line is pre-market open, the first tick on pre-market open, okay? Also a really good magnet indicator. Now, yesterday's highs in the orange dash, and of course, that one fib we had shied yesterday. So price action starting way up here. What do you look for? The moon? No, to come back to the algos because it needs tags. It is our job as traders to design and develop the trade plan that suits best for these algos to come back and attack each other. Look at the 2 pre-market algos. We'll break this down quick. Boom. Because we've been doing this now 3 times. Boom. Where do we see this happening? Okay. Where'd Brandon call the short and turnaround after 10:30:11 usually? 10:30:11, look up. Oh, wow, lower high. That's the Euro algo close. Once we fail the 1618 from this algo, what do we have? 2, you name it, 2 matching algorithms, damn near perfect, saying what? No golden pocket tag. So we developed here 2 algos that neither, not even close to having a golden pocket tag. Not in pre, not in live. Which means we need to utilize that zone as a magnet, correct? That is a magnet zone. Also, if you were paying attention to this guy back down here, the large one that we developed most of these trades off of does not have any price action on the bottom. It has not filled 508.95, so that's where it's potentially heading, right? To fill up the last 2 because there's another baby one right here, right? So those 2 algos are still going to be on watch. Now, what caused and what could we have traded here? Pretty obvious. 10:30:11 is what I always say for Euro close. The algos let loose of other non-American markets, and they can change trend or continue trend. This is obviously a trend change. What's the psychological catalyst? Friday, PCE was absolute dog water, didn't do anything for us. So, little squeeze out of the gate. Let's pay attention to algos because screw the data. As we come down, oh, let's look at the oscillation, obviously. High, lower high, perfect, perfect. MACD and RSI both telling you that you at least have a chance, right? What do we say about over-unders, and what do we say about that algo? We're going to have to go to NQ here as well, right after this before we go anchors. Now, just a reminder, double algo system, okay? 1618, which we said would be an algo fill because, remember, we shied it the trade day before on Thursday. So we opened gap. This is yesterday's highs as well, and I was pissed. I was like, man, we need it down to the gap fill to go up. That's what the algos are going to do today. Well, we stayed out. I got out of my trade. I seen the megaphone. We waited patiently and said, okay, well, wait for the late day. Well, lo and behold, this is about as high as we could have went, right? 532. We shied the 2618 because we never hit the 1618 live. So what did it do? Bow. And where's the first amount of support? Where's all the consolidation? Where did it stop the first sell-off? Right on the algo target that we shied yesterday, 526.23, 1618. Yesterday's highs in the orange dashed line and the purple pre-market open as we discussed. Right? Awesome. Now let's go to one more other thing here. We have the channel here. And remember, this was the double algo pre-market golden pocket, no tag, which means this is a first tag, which means it's going to hit and bink, go opposite until it works its way through. What do we know about confirmation? Something that breaks through a premium level generally has a retest of premium level to continue trend. That is confirmation trading. This is a short entry. This is not a short entry. This is not. Confirmational shorts are a retest of trend into a large level that you know you are limiting your risk on entry for. Now, what's the last catalyst here that we didn't talk about for this trade day? Because we already had the 1618. We're going to double up the algos. We are using this one because of the 1618 shy for Thursday. Let's move to Thursday's candle. Move the green because we already know what it's for. And we're going to take Thursday's high-low. We're just going to do it real fast because we know what's going to go, what's happening here. Oh, my God. Come on now. 531 and 8 cents. The 1618 from, we had this on the screen on Friday. We live traded this. We streamed it live. We had to say, hey, 531.50 is probably the top. Yeah, my face. Come on. Now, came all the way down to, from the 1618, it broke the 100. Now, what do we know about Friday's price action? We have no GPs, not only for the pre-market 2 algos we just covered, which is this gray zone that needed an algo backtest. We need to fill back down. And yesterday. And it closed right on the teal. Come on. Algos are algos, man. All right, so what's this one? There we go. Let's back up here. Golden pocket right here. So once we broke down under 526.15, we had a magnet breaking Thursday's highs right into the GP where it ended. Then after hours ended to the penny in the teal zone, in the double Fibonacci zone. Could it get any crazier? Okay. I'm done freaking out. I love this stuff. Any questions? Post them up. Or we're going to move to the anchor VWAPs, and that's pretty much it. Wow, we got a half hour screaming at you guys already. Couldn't find it? Could you help point it out, please? Oh, the moving average video? Sure. Are you in the Discord by chance? It's pinned in the Discord if you're in the Discord, Sergio. That's the scalping one. Many are in the pinned area for BRT. Yep. The ERP Discord. Sergio, if you are in the Discord, it is pinned up. And if not, shoot me a message on X so I see it. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, buddy. You are in the Discord? Okay. Send me a message if you don't find it. I'm going to stick to the stream stuff here for just a minute, but yeah, it'll be in the pinned. If you can't find it, send me a private message right away and I'll link you right away, okay? In the Discord or on X, whatever is easier for you. Doesn't matter. And we'll bring it up. I don't see any questions on this. Hopefully we covered most of how easy this looks. I know it's not as easy to trade, but being so many green days in a row, it is possible, guys. We just wait for first tags. You need to trade your plan and never your emotions. I know it's the most boring, oldest saying in the world, but it's real. I have a very good system and a very good risk management because I trade like a robot. What does that mean? I don't touch something unless it tags the damn thing I want. Okay? That's one of the biggest takeaways that people lose on the markets for. They're just bored, just clicking buttons. Oh, it kind of looks like it's going to go up. The hell do you mean it kind of looks like? What kind of trade breakdown is that? Where's your risk manager? Where's your entry exit? Why are you entering exit? Oh, I just thought it was going to, you know how many times I've heard that? I'm like, holy. I agree. There is a gut algorithm. There is a little bit of subliminal pattern recognition that your brain can achieve, but Jesus, just wait for the damn thing to hit the target you need. If you were patient all day and you've seen these algos, which we put over unders on the top, right? Went over and went, oh, well, if the market goes all the way up to the 168, how about I get a coffee and I watch some YouTube and wait till it comes up to the 1618 just to see if it hits. Let me just relax. And if it does hit, why don't I short it? Because we have so many other catalysts that we just went over, that is my thought process. Every single time I come in here, I'm going, oh, well, I mean, I'm bored, but if it's not up here touching something that I need to short, right? If it's not showing me a beautiful lower high, lower low trend on a lower high metric on a 3-down breakaway, 1, 2, 3, panic. Okay. All right. Last two things we're going to cover real quick here. Now, I do want to cover this now. So we talked a little bit about this on our stream always, and futures are going to look a little different than obviously the markets. They run different hours. So this is the deep seat gap. This was the long call for the day on Friday. We said it was going to fill this gap for the NQ, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it because everything I just taught you guys in the last 3 huge videos can be applied to every chart in the universe. Fibonacci is universal. Here's the deep seat gap. Right? As you walk up each one, look at the 50% retrace. Deep seek, next candle, held 50%. Next candle, held 50%. Next candle, held 50%. Do you get it? The market loves 3s and 50s, okay? So as we come to the gap fill here, we had some intraday interesting stuff working out. This was that gap, right? It did some bonkers stuff. And then we had what? Fear, hype, greed, psychological catalyst. But the takeaway is not a lot of people seen this or even know how to register this stuff, okay? One big takeaway, I told my team here on the private, on the stream, okay? That's the deep seek gap. We filled it. It did a monster squeeze, and everybody's like, oh my God, moon. Not even close, dude. Look at this 5-minute candle. We posted this one out of my stream. This is an algo candle. We actually called a wash fill right here from the gods themselves, handed us this short fill right here. So on our stream, I had an algo 1-minute gap. Imagine that. And I said, yeah, this is coming up here. I said, we got a 1-minute gap. I'm just going to short it and swing it overnight. Look at this candle fill. The algo gods were like, here's your short, ding. And off she went, all because of the minute, okay? Same with the one up here. So as we get into it here, I'm not going to teach you exactly how these entries work. Again, this free YouTube stuff, I go over a lot more in our premium Discord, but we got that one to fill. Now, the bigger takeaway from here, this is another big magnet no-no, okay? We didn't have any reason for this gap to go right here, and we had zero reason for this thing to hold. So we knew we had an opportunity to come back down and test the opening gap from Thursday to Friday, because 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central, futures will close down. They will open up Friday Thursday, 5 p.m., all the way into Friday's end. Now, this algo, which was a short that we had called in our Discord and put a limit order out to catch, had no GP. And I stressed this on the stream, and I said, guys, this is a, what the hell is that? I said, guys, this is a really interesting candle, and I was just dumbfounded on this candle, this 5-minute. I'm like, this has to play out. Like, there's no GP. So the 5-minute created this crazy algo during live trading futures, had no GP tag. High, low, no golden pocket. Okay, cool. Back up. Right to the 423.60, okay? Big squeeze. Now, notice first tag 2618 did have a reaction squeeze. Obviously, you're not going to short a high volume, crazy breakout, right at the open. Not something you want to do. But to keep in mind, these are where, I'm going to activate this, move it over here. These are where the NQ gaps were, and they line up very close to, obviously, the QQQ. So we had that little algo there as well, which deserved a bottom fill. So you see this little crazy dude over here. Can you see that with my head there? Yep, okay, you can. Bottom of that guy needed the fill. That's an algo from the last couple minutes of the last trade session. Okay, perfect. So as we kind of come into the gap fill here, and this 5-minute, that was the one that just terrified me all day, the algos. My gut was like, how in the hell does this happen? Like we broke back in, but it caught VWAP. Then it caught the 100. Then it caught VWAP. The hell, right? All right, so last but not least, I'm going to talk anchors real quick, and we'll be done. Any questions, start posting them up if you got them. I'm going to talk anchors real fast here on TradingView, and then we're going to go over to the magical algo that I traded on the top steps on the upside here. Right there. There it is. Okay, that'll be next. All right, so anchors. Anchor VWAP is where you pick a point on the chart, and it creates a VWAP from an anchor point. You can do low, high, open, close. We only focus on highs and lows. Okay, so another big takeaway here is the shy lines here on the grind up of the deep seek, and 1 and 2 other little things here. So I'm going to delete these, and we're going to build these out. And we talked about the gap fill already, did the YouTube video and all this, and the trend line. Remember, we said if it backtests the big deep seek gap, we're going to go to where a backtest of confirmational trend. Very simple. 1, 2, 3, breakout, backtest, long. Okay. Now, we don't know what's going to happen now, because obviously it's all speculation until we start getting into the week, but at least we were right about the deep seek buy up, blah, 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 because of confirmation. Anchor VWAPs. Why am I using this candle? Because the candle you draw from, Fibonacci or other, needs to be very specific, okay? This is specific because it's a gap candle, okay? Gap candle. Gap lower, okay? That's on the lower tag, which means if price action stays above this anchor on trend, we're going to go higher, right? I'm going to make another one here. Make sure we're on the right jam because we're picking the low sides over here. We have another anchor that comes into effect here. And the reason I picked this one, class, is because it looks ridiculous, because it was also a gap candle. It opened up here, filled all the way down, washed, and back up. So this candle and this candle are the two most important candles in this gap sequence. This one is also negligible, also a decent little gap on hammer, but I'm only going to focus on these two. Once the DeepSeek gap started to that upside, the confirmation is in VWAP accuracy, okay? Use this as like a flow trend. This is what I've been doing. So no tags, okay? All this price action on the daily chart coming up, no tags. DeepSeek gap, high a day, first tag. First tag. And then, of course, broke up through. And what do we usually look for? A break up on a price level as confirmation traders? We look for a back test of that level, right? So it broke through the support WAPs. Didn't want to go too much higher because we're obviously pushing into the DeepSeek gap. We're not just going to fill it next day, right? Nothing goes in a straight line if we can help it. Opens up down here, comes back through the breakout for the next day to be the back test candle, right? Wednesday. So what did it do? Opened up, ding, back test, shied the VWAP, extra strength, right? What would have helped us with this? Fibonacci. Why this candle? Range is high. Multiple indicators telling you the same thing, and the algorithms are watching. Long-term stuff. And again, you can overlap these lines with everything we built on the TOS with the Fibonacci as well. And we are just getting heavy conviction, okay? Now, how else do we run the anchors for me? Well, I'm not going to show you too much else because that's a lot of free junk. So we're going to move into just the one algorithmic anchor. The hell is my chart here? There we go. This dude right here. And I'll give you a very specific algorithm wash on why this could have happened, or why it did happen, not even could have. Here's that gap we just talked about in NQ. And like I said earlier in the videos, let's go to a 5 minutes so it doesn't look ridiculous. There we go. I put on a gap up futures candle, I tend to pick high-low anchors, right? So the high anchor is the top. Algos will be watching that very closely. I can put a low anchor on this too for trend, right? And just to decipher, we'll change it to color real fast to like white. This gap up candle, and again, use anchor VWAPs as flow trend. First tags do happen all the time on flow trend, but the big metrics and where you start to them to draw is very important. So notice, I told my chat very, very profusely, very aggressively, and I said, if these anchors VWAPs break from the gap up algo candle of the futures open, we will wash. That's why I was so bearish at the open. That's why I was looking for the gap fill right away. That's why I was looking for the double algorithm to fill that Friday's pre-market QQQ had. And the anchors stopped us. We got a fresh low, and I was saying, guys, Q's is gnarly. The second SPY bounces, we will get drug up because Q's is holding these anchors that we developed off the 5 minute gap up candle. Notice once the lower high set in and once we broke those anchors, all hell right to the gap. Okay, so you can magnet those targets, especially on futures. And of course, we love Fibbies, and this 5 minute candle with no GP that hit both of those anchors, as you can see here, that tail hit both, topped out at 423.60, and that would have been a very easy break. And I say easy because trend is friend here, guys, and this high broke into two structured low breaks to pop up to your lower high to give you an absolute limited risk to chase this down to at least the golden pocket, right? Because I talked about that short a couple times. Right? I was in this short like 3 different times. I was just early. I had to stop out accordingly, had to stop profit accordingly. But then I said later on, this thing right here is freaking me out. It's got to come back for the algorithms. We just know that there's a high percentile chance. Nothing's guaranteed in the market. Okay? That is it. So once those anchors broke, once that fib came back down, that is all the algo trading, my friends. That concludes everything I want to give out for free on the YouTubes. You can apply this to anything. Watch the video twice. It helps. Any questions, let me know. If not, we'll see you on the next one, eh? Video broke down because I sold puts the Friday DeepSeek. Yep, Rob is our Kramer indicator for BRT. We'll call him that. So unfortunately, that DeepSeek random ass news there kind of caught Nvidia off guard. In the long term of things, I don't find Nvidia coming back anytime soon. I think that was a blow that Nvidia is not going to recover from. OpenAI, open source, Microsoft literally after this week swapped a lot of OpenAI protocols to open source as well. I don't think it's over for Nvidia, like it's dead and gone forever, but that is a blow to the #1 mega stock, top dog of AI. I think that's just a really big psychological blow that's gonna That's going to cause ripples for a lot longer than people think. Watch NVIDIA for the continuation of the markets here. No problem. Terry, thanks, buddy. Hey, rock on, Mike. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it, Steve. We just try to do what we can, man. I was in that short, but I got scared. That's all right. It's no big deal. As long as you made a little bit of green, hopefully, and learn something, that's the most important. Taking this stuff and applying it, guys. Taking this stuff and applying it. Doesn't matter if you win every single trade. Doesn't matter if you're just, I made $10,000. P&L does not matter one bit. Can you replicate it? I don't care if you made $10 or $1,000. Replicate it. Do it again every single day. I don't care if it's $5, $10, $15. That's what matters most. Consistency in this stuff. And these algorithms are so important. Super important. This is a very easy class, I think, to grasp onto because I'm a very simple trader. I do not trade with any kind of crazy metrics, all the Elliott waves, all this. Like, dude, just wait till it touches one of the fibs and click the button. And pay attention to where the gaps are so you know where price action can magnet to because computers love magnets. Hello. No problem, guys. I don't know, Textiles. I'm just here, dude. I'm just here. I like to help out where I can, dude. I don't know. We'll try these algos on Ninja. Just last week. Yep. Algos are great. NinjaTrader will have the 1 minute gaps. NinjaTrader is a great platform. It'll show you the 1 minute gaps, especially in the NQs and NVIDIA. So, I mean, there's a lot of those. I didn't go into too much of it on NQ, but we do use this on both charts. And both charts will tell you different things. So you notice throughout the night right here, 1 minute gap. What did it do? It was too hot on what? My favorite indicator came into the +2 VWAP. +2 VWAP, too hot, +2 VWAP, too hot, +2 VWAP, too hot. Created a gap. Came back down to what? Regular VWAP. And then did what? Returned right to the damn gap. And what'd you use? 2 indicators, 1 gap indicator and 1 freaking VWAP. And then 100 EMA for trend. Under 100, under 100, under. Ooh, a support from VWAP. Higher low, higher high. We broke structure from here. Where's the target? Oh, I don't know. Kind of waving at you in the face for the perfect algo fill. And then it gave you another one. This stuff is readable. Practice, I promise. I am not special and smart in any way, shape, or form. I am very basic. I do not have any kind of special magic powers here, guys. This is real basic stuff. And the more you practice it, you're going to be like, oh, God, that was easy. How did I not see that before? Trade small. Articulate. Come on. Chart. Sit in front of the screen. I used to rewatch videos 2, 3, 4, 5 times just to understand what a level 2 was, for freak's sake. You know? So everyone has the capabilities to do this, I promise. Take care, Rob. Good thing. Absolutely, Mike. Join the live in the Discord. Hit me up. Make sure to message me, or if you don't, tag me in the Discord if you're in the live. Any one of these indicators are free. Just hit me up. Most of the stuff I showed here today is all free. That's a stock Fibonacci, a stock VWAP, the gap indicator for Thinkorswim, free. Just let me know if you want it, man. No big deal at all. All that stuff's free. Explain a common gap? Sure. It's a gap that fills next candle no matter what. Well, we have an indicator for that as well. Oh, shit. I'll remove all of them. So a common gap indicator. Oh, I think I already have it on here. It's just muted. Yeah, whatever. So these little arrows are common gaps. And all a common gap means is the next candle fills the gap. Does not matter what time frame. So a common gap on the daily chart is something that we'll see right here by the arrows, right? By the indicator. What's a common gap? Something that, now this is a regular gap because it didn't fill. The common gap has to fill next day. This candle and this candle has a regular gap because you can see the background color. No wicks overlapping, no bodies overlapping, just background color in between. That is a regular gap. This is a common gap. Why? Because here's yesterday's highs. Here's the open of the next day. And it had to create a wick tail down to fill yesterday's highs because when it opened, that was a gap up. And this is called a common gap because it filled the next day. So this candle to this candle. Candle 1, candle 2, filled the gap same day. That is a common gap, and this is a regular gap because it did not fill same day, right? We got the lows here, opened up here, and it was like, see ya. That is a regular gap. That is a common gap right next to each other. Kramer reference. Oh, okay. I'm out, he says. Kramer reference. No problem, Mike. No problem. And we do have an indicator for that too. If you ever join up at BRT, hit me up. All these are free. I don't charge. There's no course selling yet unless we do one for charity. I don't charge indicator. $10 a month for this indicator. You owe me $500 for the dude. ChatGTP can make all these indicators in 2 seconds, dude. We're not going to charge anything for this stuff. It's ridiculous. We don't need any money. A little bit of a streaming fee to cover the cost to stream and the website stuff. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to trade. You can watch me trade live every single day on real accounts and real payouts that I post. I do not need any money. I'm not here to sell courses. I don't sell dreams. I show you them. I will not sell you a dream. I will not sit here and say, oh yeah, I'll make you rich. That is the dumbest mindset. It's one of the biggest pet peeves I have in the market. If you pay somebody a service fee and you come in and they're like, my alerts will make you rich, your mindset is I'm going to pay somebody a couple $100 a month and they're just going to spoon feed me riches. You know how ridiculous that sounds when you say it out loud? If there was an alert service that worked 100% of the time, that was going to make you rich, not one big trade that I hit, look at this, buy my ebook, buy my streaming service, I'm going to call, and then they lose 20 in a row after their one big hit. I would be in the chat with you if there was one that worked. I would be with you. I would be with everybody. It would be a 10 million people would be in there in the first month. If somebody was alerting plays that never missed, I'd be right there with you. There is no such thing. That shit does not exist. Learn how to trade this stuff by yourself. It's not that hard. Alert services are just the fucking bane of my existence. These TikTok kids and YouTubers that scream all these services. It's only $10. Yeah, and all you got to do is sell it to 100,000 people, and now you're a millionaire, and blah, blah, blah. And you did it off scamming, not trading. I do it off trading, and I do it live every day. And I show you the bank account statements that I hit in all the prop accounts. I show you the main ones. I showed you my last year's Tastyworks account to be $430,000 on it. There's no demos at Tasty Trader. There used to not be. There might be now. I think there's one. But all that real trading in the past years, this is, I teach you how to do this stuff. This is possible. There's no such thing as an alert service. Mental. We will draw perfection like high lows. We will draw pretty pictures that shows you entry exits for potentials, but I'm not going to sit here and spoon feed you for a couple $100 and make you rich. That shit does not exist. That is the broke person mindset. You have to want to do it yourself, you know, or at least I do. Shit. Why would why would I think so? I'm going to pay somebody $250 a month and they're just going to print me money. What a stupid mindset. I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous. I can't stand that. See you Monday. Thanks, buddy. And the big brain would snag the info. Exactly. And the big old algos would take any perfect system. If you have an edge on the market, you don't sell it. You just don't. There's buy my indicator. It tells you when to buy and sell. No, it doesn't. BlackRock would release the Aladdin system they use to beat the market and sell it to you, right? No problem. No, they don't. They keep it to themselves and they don't release it publicly because they have the best mathematicians in the universe working on this thing, making it beat the market. You think they're going to sell it to you for $29.99 and give away the edge on the stock market, how they make money? Common sense, guys. Come on. There is no such thing. No such thing. The markets are very tradable if you're patient. Any of the indicators on TradingView? I don't even use it. They're all free, actually. Any of the TradingView indicators are free. I use TopStepX and regular TradingView, and all I use is an Anchor VWAP. This is a standard Anchor VWAP. Just change your color. There's no special anything. The gap indicator is free on TradingView as well. I don't have any paid service, anything, man. All this stuff's are free indicators. I don't have a custom-built TradingView indicator of any kind. Anchor VWAPs are just a standard. It shows right here, this little two-candle dude right here. It says Anchored VWAP. That's it. And just set it to high and low, depending on which way you're trying to follow your trends and your algos, like we explained in the video. No paid for indicators. That does not exist for me. I'm not selling you guys indicators every other week. This new options trading strategy. Now you got to give me another $300. Shut up. Dude, if you actually knew how to trade and make money, you wouldn't have to do any of that stuff. You have an edge? Yep. Here we are posting it. Just saying. You think so. You think so. A lot of people say that. But there's a reason I've done the same thing for 14 years. Because this edge does exist, and there's traders beyond me that already know this edge as well. Older gentleman that my chat actually put me onto that I didn't even know existed uses these gap systems, not like I do, but he used them for 25 years. It's the entry and exits on confirmation, and I give you guys about 25 to 35% of what we use here on YouTube for free. All the other stuff is for my premium chat to show you guys. But I have never once came into the patterns and plays and been like, oh, there's my market edge, it's gone. I've lost some systems, which is true over the years. There's certain fills, but I adapt. That is one of the superpowers of a trader. I've lost my 1 minute gap instant fill system and my cluster gap system. I released those free to YouTube years ago, and all of a sudden the market ate it up, found out what I was doing, and those Never existed on the chart ever again. Now, this type of edge requires massive confirmation and massive patience, you know? So like one of these things, like imagine like the first explanation here on the Qs, and I don't care if the market never gives me gaps ever again, we still have fibs. Fibonacci cannot be, you know, manipulated that heavily. It just can't be. It's the universe's math, right? We didn't create math. We didn't wake up one day, 4 + 4 is 8. We discovered math and then implemented systems on top of that. This is universe law, is Fibonacci, in my opinion. So when I go to a 1 minute gap, right, and say we had a 1 minute gap right here, how are you supposed to know, instead of watching me trade, that would you short here and then go for the gap? Would you short here and go for the gap? Would you get short here and blow yourself out at the VWAP and short for the gap? No, it's all about confirmation trading. So I can tell you the levels in which it will fill, but I'm not going to tell you how it gets there and where the entries are. I'll give you a little bit. Most smart people right here could figure everything out I just said. Every little tiny thing. They can sit here and practice and watch the video 100 times like I do when I learn things, and it will come up and it'll be very easy eventually for them, because they'll sit here and chart and chart and chart and chart. And that's what I did to learn, and you'll figure these systems out. Eventually stuff changes, and stuff changes by the day, right? We stack catalysts for that reason. So the edge doesn't leave usually for the market because I'm using multiple things at a time. I am using a VWAP structured with a 100 EMA, with a fib, with an RSI, with a MACD. If my system, I have 3 long up here and 3 bearish down here, and it evens each other out, I don't trade. 0% trades. I'm only going to trade when the indicators are with me and my statistical advantage is with me, right? But most other traders are like, oh, the VWAP's touching the +2. This is overbought. Why? Why do you assume that? Why don't you assume that you need to wait for a Fibonacci hit up here? Most traders will blow themselves out not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times. Then they'll get pissed, quit because they've read 4 times and they weren't patient enough to wait, right? Not a lot of people can do that. So even if I do release edges here, people aren't going to sit here through this whole video and figure it out. They're not going to, you know, the market might, but most people that come into this, they're not going to take the time, watch all the videos a couple times, really understand the system, implement it. They're just going to say, oh, no, I'm just going to look for an indicator that tells me when. Well, go ahead. I'll be here using my systems day in, day out, going on year 15. No market edge lost yet. I haven't been profitable for 15 years. I'm not saying I've been doing this for 15 profitable. We're on 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, we're on just about 9 years profitable. 8, 9 coming on. I messed up big my first 4 years. It's always, yeah, my edge is patience. They can't take that away from me. Correct, Rob. Exactly what we're saying. There are many gap indicators on TradingView. I just use one, gaps, GAPS. I don't have an indicator on that. TradingView, I don't trust the gaps on. I only use Thinkorswim, okay? TradingView is not a chart system I use for gaps because their data is different from Thinkorswim. So if you want the gaps on the 1 minute charts, like on this stuff, there is an indicator on TradingView called gaps, GAPS, just says gaps. It doesn't work 100% all the time. This is why I use Thinkorswim. You'll always see me on the old dinosaur platform here doing stuff. You will not find me on TradingView unless it is anchor VWAPs. That is the only indicator. I won't even use moving averages on TradingView because their data is so jacked up. And then you got to pay for specific data and all this other stuff. You don't have to do any of that through TradingView and through Thinkorswim, because TradingView charges you all the data packages, the monthly fee to use indicators, blah, 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 blah. Go make a TD Ameritrade account, or what are they now? Charles Schwab. Use Thinkorswim, learn this platform, all free indicators and real data that you don't have to pay for monthly. I use it on the indicator, Mike, on the Thinkorswim indicator. So I do find it myself once in a while if I see them. Once in a great, you know, indicator is never going to be a perfect 100%. So if I'm going through this stuff and I'm like, oh yeah, look at there's a 1 minute gap here. Sometimes the indicator will miss a tiny sliver. Nothing's going to be perfect, but I have an indicator right here on Thinkorswim that shows me where they are, and then I just mark them off. And then I use my strategy, my patience, and my mindset, and when this has a potential to fill, right? Because the psychology of the market, my psychology versus the algorithms, is my edge. My patience and my psychology. I'm not an indicator trader. These are just stacking catalysts for me. I understand the market manipulation with the news, hype, fear, and greed way more than I do indicators. And that's what saves me, is the mental. It's always the mental. What are they trying to scam me on today? You know, do we have PPI today? Do we have CPI today? What's the catalyst? This is ours at BRT. So these are free once you join BRT. This is one of our custom-made indicators. So you'll see common gap boiler room trading right here. And then you'll see, well, we added that one twice. And then true gap boiler room trading right here. So any of these BRT indicators that we develop, these are our indicators. So once you join up, shoot me a message. They're all free. Just with the sign up. No problem, buddy. Pinned section in the Discord will have them there. If you can't find it, if you're new to Discord, you don't like the chats, just hit me up. I'm always here to help. 12:86. All right, my friends, I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for tuning into the live stream. Thanks for interacting. Thanks for stopping by. And above all, stay curious in the market, man. Don't let it beat you up mentally. Stay curious, stay having fun. This stuff is really cool. Once you figure it out, once you just get addicted to the charts every day, figuring this stuff out, there's nothing cooler to be in the universe, man. It's so fun. So you guys stay curious. You guys stay fun. Trade safe as always. If you do want to join us at Boiler Room Trading, link is in the description on pretty much all my videos and this one. If not, we'll see you on the next free YouTube video. Take care. Have a good weekend.